What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Purely Beauty Lab. It's your girl Danielle Grace, and you already know we're about to get into another real and raw workday. From sanitizing containers to sipping smoothies and talking business, this is where the grind meets the glow. So go ahead, hit that like button, and let's go ahead and get to work. So today's video is going to be a mix of things. We're going to be finishing up second step of our sanitizing process. And then I also wanted to just talk to you guys what it's really like being an entrepreneur, running a business, and still trying to prioritize your health, your peace, and your prayer life. It's not easy, but it's real. And I wanted to share it with y'all as I go through it. If you caught my last video, I walked y'all through step 1, which is basically deep cleaning and prepping all my containers before they touch anything. Now we're on step 2. For this step, I'm using Clorox wipes to do a thorough wipe down of each container, oil bottles, spray bottles, testers, you name it. This is key to keeping everything clean, safe, and professional for my clients. Y'all already know I can't get through a single workday without some prayer. As a small business owner, you carry so much, and it's not just the products and packaging, it's payroll, marketing, taxes, customer service, and keeping the vision alive when you're tired. So I always make space throughout the day to talk to Jehovah because that's strength. It doesn't come from me alone. live. I decided to take a break and make myself a smoothie. I've been thinking about this all morning. I just got this new Ninja blender and baby, it's been calling my name. And look, if you're a business owner, one thing I've learned is you have to carve out those moments. We get so deep into the grind that we eat junk food and then wonder why we're dragging halfway through the day. So today I'm making something light and good for me, a bag of frozen fruit and spinach. And I've recently discovered blackberries. Where have they been all my life? They're sweet and rich. Oh my gosh. Then I'm adding coconut milk, a little heavy whipping cream, and just a splash of oat milk. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I know what I like. So we just gonna go ahead and roll with it. And yes, I'm over here doing the most trying to get a thumbnail. Don't judge me, that's content creation 101. Okay, so smoothies made, energy's back up, let's get to it. I wasn't joking when I said I had a lot of containers to sanitize. We're talking oil bottles, cashmere, beard wax containers, beard butter containers, hair butters, candles and organic soaps to Purely Beauty Corporation lineup. And I still might, but for now, I'm really trying to stay laser focused on what's really growing, my hair care line and beard oil. I love me some candles though, so I'm still gonna be making them just for me for now. Step 2 is officially done. These containers have been wiped down and are now air drying. Once they're completely dry, I'll come back and hit them with a final alcohol spray. That's step 3, and then we'll be ready to fill and label. Whew, it's been a long day, y'all. But this is what the grind looks like behind the scenes. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years, just know every little step matters. It all adds up. Take your breaks, talk to God, stay grounded in your why, and don't let nobody rush your process. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of this journey. I'll be dropping more videos showing you everything from production to packaging to planning. And as always, stay blessed, stay focused, and most importantly, stay fuckboy free. I'll see y'all in the next one.